Jonathan is not here on Thursdays, huh? Beit HaMikdash. So we're talking about Chanukah. By the way, did you see what I put on the Yeshiva group about that? About that fortress in Yerushalayim, which is interesting.
Yes,
in the time of, who was it, Yochanan, I think, or Shimon, they actually celebrated the thing on, some kind of like a victory on Chav Gimel in Iyar or something of that sort. Not when we're doing it. It's okay, whatever. Just to mention. It's called Akra. Hey, Tzaddik, Kohen, Kohanecha el Beshut Tzedek, Mechasidecha. All right, let's talk about Beit HaMikdash. Everybody talks about the Temple Mount, Beit HaMikdash. Shlomo, I'm very happy to see you. So according to Kabbalah, we have the word Beit HaMikdash. Beit HaMikdash. Oh my goodness!
Wow.
One after the other. Oh my God, man, I'm happy to see you.
All the way from Lakewood.
Wow! Yeah, next one Mashiach. Yeah. All right. So according to Kabbalah, the word Bait really represents the ratzon, the wills of men. Right? By the way, if you want to explore more about the meaning of words and letters, there is a very interesting way to do so by seeing where do they appear for the first time in the Torah. For example, the word Bereshit, Reshit, Bet. How do you spell Bet? Like Bait. Right? So you can look at the design of the letter Bet, and to see how Bait should be closed from three sides and open for one side. In other words, even your great Achnasat Orchim should also have limits, right? And we learn three walls, whether it's for Eruvin, whether it's for Sukkah. We're not getting into this. Anyway, so that Bait represents the Ratzon of a man, of a person. And the Musag Kodesh is really the ability, and we spoke about it a lot during this Chanukah, almost every day. Kodesh will be the ability of the willingness and the ability of the person to give to the other. To give to the other. We were talking with Rebs here the other day, and I had a Havamina where the concept of Shirayim, with the Rabbeim and the giving. So they kind of, the Rebbe is the Shefa, the Tzimor, and he gives from his bread to the other. There's very symbolic in terms of that. However, you don't have to be a Rebbe to become holy, and you don't have to you have to be a Rebbe to actually share with other people. But that's really what it means. So a person that really was able to be metaken all his retzonot, all his wills, from self-usage to the benefit of the people, of other people, a person like that is considered to be a person who built his internal Beit HaMikdash. In other words, we don't say you should not have any desires and any wills and any, but they should be appropriately directed. So have this in mind when we say, every time we use the words Beit HaMikdash and so on and so forth, we are concentrating, for those of you who weren't here, we're concentrating this Chanukah, Be'ezat Hashem, on taking Chanukah concepts and applying a Kabbalistic approach to them, plus a little bit of, Musa or whatever it is, to that. To give it a little bit different meaning than what we got used to. So the word Or, what does Or represent? Or means light, right? That means the hargasha, the feeling of a person, of what we call the Koach Elyon, the superior life. How much God do you have in your life? How much do you see God? How much do you, as they say, how much do you see the light? Right? Oh, seeing the light, right? Now that light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere. And we're not talking about just this kind of light, we're talking about something greater of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere. And for a person, we should know that any ratzon, any, call it will in this matter, that is not being controlled by your ego and by selfishness, or to that matter, self-love, A person that was able to be metaken, to fix, to take his ratzon, brute, and now refined it, a person like this, and was able to transform his self-love to the love of others, is being filled with what is so-called, with a feeling that we call or, light. That's why a person is called enlightened. If you are an enlightened person, it's not that you took, I don't know, how do you take ecstasy? By pills or whatever, 2 pills of ecstasy and a little sniff of cocaine, and now I'm enlightened, It's not by, you're doing yoga, all this, that's not how you become enlightened. Becoming enlightened is realizing that giving to others is the right thing to do. There's no need to, because you're not going to take it anything with you. And you become, like this, you become holy, and as they say, you see the light. So now let's talk about, we're talking about different things today, different subjects. So let's talk about lighting now the candles. This morning, we were talking about the meditation of the candle, right, and whatever a candle represents, and we've been talking about this throughout the Chanukah. So lighting the candle symbolizes an internal process in a person that it really, that is developing and is widening and makes you bigger, step by step. In other words, that process is what enhances your kesher with HaKadosh Baruch Hu to the state that you reach, that state is called Chanukah. Chanukah, which is lighting the candles, right? The Chanukah is the candelabra. You become the kli in which you could put the candles to light the candles to bring the light, like the Maccabim did in Beit HaMikdash. Now, if you take all this symbolism and you translate it to Avodat Beit HaMikdash, you understand now what Beit HaMikdash is all about. Beit HaMikdash is not about us having a building over there on top of some kind of a hill in Yerushalayim that we go in and we say, we are the champions, and so on and so forth. It symbolizes the ultimate giving and whatever else comes along with what we said before, Bayit. And then you can see the menorah that the Kohen Gadol lights and all the processes that happen because of that as well. And lighting the candles of the menorah, of our Chanukah, is coming to actually remind us that we also need to turn this light inside of our hearts. And it is dependent on you and not on somebody else to light it for you. Nobody's going to plug in some kind of like a 220 outlet so you could see the light. You are the Kohen Gadol. You are the priest in the thing, in the bite, in the place that you call your body, yourself, your soul. You need to be the one who lights it. Now, it needs to be pure. Of course, it needs to be pure. It needs to be pure because you cannot light in Beit HaMikdash anything else but the purest olive oil. And so is your neshama. Your neshama should be excited and should be I can't find really the English term for that. It's called hitpalu, to be really litpael. How do you say litpael? Amazed. Let's call it this way. Your soul should feel this like wow feeling all the time by what is that you do and understanding how HaKadosh Baruch Hu relates to the world, how you relate to the world of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how you relate to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how your life is all about. You need to understand that. You need to bring it about. You need to feel this. And it's your job. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And you cannot do it by anything else that is external or fake or substance or anything like that. No alcohol, no drugs, no pot, no frying pan, nothing. Right? It's only because of understanding those processes inside. The same thing that happens many times when you learn a tough sugya, you learn some concept, right? I see it lately many times with the guys that we learn in the morning. We're learning Hilchot Eruvin. I see it. It's very difficult, and then all of a sudden you see like somebody turns the light in the faces. The lights glow. They get a concept that they thought for them is going to be Eruvin. That never, And all of a sudden they understand it. You really see the face is glowing. I really mean that the face is glowing. So that kind of a feeling when I got it. I know Kung Fu, I learned it. Like the Matrix, the same thing. The same thing. That should come from you inside. When you understand that there's really no way for darkness and sadness and upsetism in your life and all kind of things like that. You know, I'm upset, I'm this, I'm not happy, you see it, you see the light all in anywhere that Kadosh Baruch Hu does for you. And I said to you before, many times it happens to us that, let's say you want to go somewhere and do something, and that's where it was your plan to go all the time, argument's sake. Let's say you want to become a doctor. All your life, everybody told you, be a doctor, be a doctor. And you said, yeah, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a doctor. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to you, Tishma, I know you want to become a doctor, but your mission is really to do something else. And you said, no, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to come to you, he's going to say, okay, you're learning very hard for the test, guess what? Blank, you come to the test, you don't say anything. I don't know. Well, I don't know what it is. Basic math, I can't do them. And you try, and you try, and you try, until you say, you know, I forget, I'm going to do something else. And then you allow Kadosh Baruch Hu to take you whatever you need to take it. And all of a sudden you find yourself, I don't know, to become, a Rebbe in a Yeshiva. And actually guiding and helping kids that otherwise would have been lost. So after a few years you will say, oh my goodness, good thing I didn't become a doctor. But you forgot to say, thank you, Hashem. So, that's something that we need to know. Now, let's talk about miracles. We're talking about miracles all the time. Miracle is the revelation of a Kadosh Baruch Hu to a person in his action, what we call a nes. A nes is really a revelation that explores and shows the person a different way of looking at things. Well, I thought that the water only goes this way, and all of a sudden it starts going that way. That's a miracle. It shows you that it's possible also. A new way of looking at things. Different than the way you've seen it so far. That's a miracle. For example, see a donkey talking, right? Like, what's his name? Like Bilam, that's a miracle. But those miracles happen all the time because you thought that something, and many times you call self-persuasion, but that's the only reason why you saw it like that is because you were very self-centered. You couldn't accept and willing to accept that there are other things like this, that the reality around you really is perfect, and the chisaron that you see in society or in the world around you is only because of you, not because of anything else. Outside is perfect. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created this thing perfect. It works like a clockwork. It's the best. The chisaron is in you, in your ability to see things, and therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu will show you something, and guess what? Wow, that's a miracle. It's not a miracle. It's the miracle that you didn't understand until now. It's obvious. And that will bring us to Pach HaShemen. And Pach HaShemen, these are all, again, in Kabbalah they use a lot of those terms all the time. So in Kabbalah, the Pach HaShemen, that the vessel of oil, really is symbolism for a initial awakening in the heart of the person to search the connection that he has with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As they look for the Pach HaShemen, for that pureness inside. You're striving and you're looking. And it's very hard in our society to do so, but sometimes you feel like it, and we get very petrified, and we push this right away. We don't want to bring it up to the surface. We don't want to hear. And sometimes you get this thing. However, when were you going to get it? And it's very interesting. I was watching a documentary about Israelis that go to India. They go to India, and all of a sudden, many times they find in India, they find Judaism in India. They find other things, but they find also Judaism in India. Or when they come to America, or when they go somewhere else, many Israelis, they were completely secular in Israel, they come to America and they find all of a sudden God there. Why? Because that society here allowed them to really express, their who they are and their faith, whichever way they want, without giving an account. Because in Israel, let's say for example you're secular, right? So you're a secular person. All of a sudden you decide to, I saw the light, I had a dream, I want to put a kippah on my head. You got to put it, and by the way, that's something that I'm telling you, I'm repeating to you exactly from an Israeli, that I had a conversation years ago about this thing. He said, I could never become a Baal Tshuva in Israel, because I would put a kippah on my head. Right away, everybody would say, what's the matter with you? Chozer b'tshuva, ishtagata, something, what's wrong with you? Right? He said, my religious friends would say to me, מה יש לך? מה זה הדבר הזה על הראש שלך? They would say, what's this thing on your head? So there was a harp. He said, you can't do America. He said, "Why? I felt the need that I must do this. That's what I want to live my life." So I said, "Well, what was the most difficult thing for you to give up your, I don't know, your treif that you were eating? What was the most difficult for you to do?" He said to me, "You know what? I'll tell you what. The most difficult thing for me to do was to go outside of my home with the kippah on my head." He used to live at the time in Forest Hills. I lived on Gali. He lives in Forest Hills. He said, "I put the kippah on my head. I thought everybody is looking at me. You know, I thought people are looking at me in the train. I thought people are going to look at me at work. I felt like, oh my goodness, like I'm walking naked. You know, those people that walk in the sometimes they have like the underpants day on the subway. I mean, he said, I felt like I'm going naked. They don't feel, it's okay going, I mean, it's like a crazy idea, right, isn't it? But he said, that was it. And when I realized that nobody actually looked at me, nobody cares, I was surprised. I said, why is nobody saying anything? I was getting upset. But the most difficult thing was to that. And why is that? Because here he was able to let go of everything. He was able to not really care. But you know, it allowed him. Society allowed him that. So you know, you could come and you could go ahead and do those things. But you need to stop with all this places. That's why people go to India, they go to places, and all of a sudden they come back. They're Breslavs and they're Lubavitch or they this. And it's very interesting. In Israel, you tell somebody, "Oh, you רוצה לבוא ליל הסדר, you know, we'll do ליל הסדר together." לא, עזוב, בחייך, מצות, this, I don't need this, I don't need this. They go to Tibet, I don't know Tibet, they don't go to Tibet. They go to Nepal, they go to India, oh, ליל הסדר. Everybody all of a sudden wants to do ליל הסדר. It's crazy. It's inside of us. It's each and every one of us. But that's the pure place, as we said previously, that's the pure place that nobody could ever, and it's never, the light of this place is shining. It's just covered. It's covered with fears. It's covered with societal pressure and so on. You don't need to be afraid. Absolutely no need to be afraid to do what you know that's what you want to do. Listen, there's going to be a price. For example, if you're going to tell me, listen, Rabbi, I want to sit down and learn in Kollel all my life. Torah kol chayenu. That's all I want to do. I want to be like Ben Azai. So I will tell you, listen, are you really able to do so? Yes, my desire, that's what I want to do. So I said, you know what it means? It means that you're not going to drive a BMW or Mercedes or whatever it is that you know, like your friend, you're probably going to have some jalopy car if you're going to have one at all. You're going to probably, live in 2-bedroom apartment. Are you okay with it? No, I'm okay with that. I don't really care. You don't really care? No, I don't care. Okay, go ahead and do it then. Well, what's the problem? Who are you waiting for? You're waiting for somebody to tell you no, and then you say, okay, listen, he told me no, that's why I'm not doing it. Go ahead and do it. That's what you want to do it. That's what you want to do it. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Making decisions out of fear, like we do most of our lives, is a very bad thing. That's why we're not successful in our lives. That's why we're not successful in our life. So we should know that while we light the candles, when we light the candles, all the Sha'arei Shamayim, all the gates of heaven are open. Called Sha'arei Shamayim. And it says in the name of Rabbi Israel Micharkov that, and he brings it in the Sefer, in Mevizah, Ki bechokhmah poteach sha'arim. With wisdom he opens the gate. And that refers to Ner Chanukah that is lit in Shemen Zayit, that romez lechokhmah. Shemen Zayit always refers to chokhmah, right? So, bechokhmah poteach sha'arim. In other words, in the sake that we light the candle. So that's why you understand now why it will be, if you are more in tune with those things, to light it specifically with pure olive oil rather than candles or paraffin or whatever it is. Even though the kol hashmanim ksherim, all the oils are kosher. You want to light it with, whatever oil. Eucalyptus oil, then go ahead and light it. Who cares? Kol hashmanim ksherim. And there is so-called a rumor that says that, people, has to be edible, not edible, and so on and so forth, but nobody really knows where the source of where exactly he started for. Kol hashmanim ksherim. There is an inyan to light it in shemen zayit zach, katit lamaor, cold pressed virgin olive oil, mishum of hidur mitzvah. because you want to do like the light of it. But lemase, well, you can light it with a candle, you can light it with anything. Everything is okay. However, if you understand, now you do things on a different level, you want to do it like that. So therefore you understand that shemen zayit romez, hints. And by the way, they kind of cheat you. I hope nobody sues me. But they kind of cheat you when they give you the paraffin, because over half of it is filled with paraffin that never lights. It's the gel, and the oil burns, and it doesn't. So you're paying the same thing as for oil. Might as well just buy a whole jug of oil like this, like a gallon of oil, and just pour it like the best quality. It will cost you $30, and you can have it for salads until the end of the fall. The end of the summer. Olive oil, a little feta cheese on top, some tomatoes, fresh pita, zatar lemala. Oh, it's ta'im. You like that? Ta'im. Nice tomatoes, in the summer, that's the best. If I could only eat cheese. Anyway, so that shemen zayit, that olive oil really opens the gate. And by you lighting it appropriately, and that's why you should look forward to do the mitzvah. And you should do not skimp on mitzvot, skimp on other things. For example, you don't need so many coats, and you don't need so many shoes, you don't need so many. But on a mitzvah, al tiyeh kamtzan, don't be cheap. Even if you buy a can of oil and you're only going to use it for Chanukah, from year to year, they're probably going to last you, 10 years. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't be, you're talking about here pennies for something that is so great. It says in the name of Rabbi Chaim Palachi, it says that when you light the candle, Vishat Adlakat HaNerot, Na'asa et ratzon b'morumim. It's a segula to ask. So therefore, if you want to ask for shidduch, you want to ask for parnusi, you want to ask for gdula b'torah, to learn shiftachul chasharei chokhmah, that's the time to ask. And why? And it says because midat adin mitbatelet u'mit'oreret midat harachamim. Mitbatelet. There's no midat din. So when you light the candles, that's why. When I light the candles, I put something, if, for example, today I was cooking. I made something, my wife came late, my kids came late. So I made some food, I made some Chinese food. It was really yummy. I made hot sour soup, a whole bunch of things. So I'm working in the kitchen with my woks. I love it, my knives, get the whole thing. But I'm not going to work with this white shirt in the kitchen. It's crazy, it's going to get ruined. So I work with my t-shirt. So I got everything ready. My wife came, my son came, the other ones couldn't come, so I lit the candles. Before I light the candles, I put my tzitzit on, I put my shirt on, I wash my hands, I do things appropriately, and then I go light the candles. I light the candles, and, you should take it very seriously. This is a very serious time. Don't light the candles. Yalla, bon, nu, maher, tadlik et ze kacha, lo meshane, ken meshane. Say l'shem yichud, say everything, v'yinoam 7 times. Some people are even mehader to say shiviti, the laminatzeach in Tzorat HaMenorah afterwards. You don't have to, but don't rush. It's a tremendous, tremendous time for mitzvah. That's why when you light the candles, be mechaven. When you say ala nisim v'ala niflaot she'asa la'avotenu bayamim hahem, b'zman hazeh, eze nisim u'niflaot. That this time that you ask during the time, that's when you're going to get what you want. It's a tremendous time of this, and I've explained to you many times, there are times that the windows of spiritual opportunity to actually put in. There's no obstacles. It's just like, it opens up, and then, try to imagine, for example, a cloudy day, and so all of a sudden you see a beam of sun goes through, because there's a little hole there, and it goes, that's exactly how it works. Right through the clouds. And during the times of Chanukah, you could daven whether it's on Gashmiyut, whether it's Ruchaniyut, whether it's on something natural, or whether you need a mamash a miracle. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he really hears those tefillot and really memale all the bakashot l'tovah u'livracha. Of course, you can't wait, you can't ask for somebody to die, right? But but you can ask good things, if you need a shidduch, you want to have a kid, you want to have, but whatever you ask, never ask something that would cause you bitul Torah. Always have to be alongside with Torah. Ask something with Torah. Say, Ribono Shel Olam, Tishma, I need a better job that will be able to pay me so I can be able to learn more Torah. You'll get it. Say, I want a big job. I want to make $200,000. Okay, not a problem. How about Torah? Well, I'm busy, it's a big job. Okay, you can get it. That's the way it works. Always has something with Torah. Now, the Baal Tiferet Shlomo says that a person needs to have a kavanah, especially when it says, when you daven, and according to Yitkadel v'Yitkadesh Shmo HaGadol. First of all, whatever it is that you're asking, always, it says, that's why I said to you, Torah. Whatever it is that you ask, that with your actions, the name of Hashem should be praised. You need to do Kiddush Hashem with your Hashem. And then, ואחר כך, יבקש כל צרכיו בעולם הזה. זה ריבונו של עולם. עמך ישראל דחופים וצרופים. Please help עם ישראל. מה אנחנו צריכים? חיזבאללה, חמאס, כל הפגע הרע הזה, right? באמת. We want Am Israel to be together, that the people will get along. Forget about the Jews, Chozar B'Tshuva. Forget about this. Let the Jews all get along. Oh, maybe that's a miracle. But at least get along. I want... No sinat achim, no hatred. Everybody kumbaya like this, holding the hands for you, Hashem. And then you can ask for your thing. And whether it's in Gashmiyut or it's Briut Aguf, Parnasa, and so on and so forth. And why? Because you really need this. So because of that, if you're asking that with other spiritual thing, Likvod Hashem, so therefore it's not going to be pushed away. Now, during the 8 days of Chanukah, there's another midah. Every day there's another midah, another quality that it really takes place. So the Mekubalim say that every day of the Chanukah midah acheret mit'oreret mishivchei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, when we say Birkat Yotzer Or betfilat Shacharit, right? You say Yotzer Or. פועל גבורות, נר ראשון. עושה חדשות, נר שני. בעל מלחמות, is the third candle. זורע צדקות, is the fourth candle. מצמיח ישועות, is the fifth. בורא רפואות, נר שישי. נורא תהילות, נר שביעי. אדון הנפלאות is the eighth candle of Chanukah. And the eighth candle of Chanukah, as you see, the light mitgaber, it is the most light. It is one that a person needs to be very, very careful lighting it, especially every single day, something else, but especially during the 8th day, which is Adon HaNiflaot, masters of all miraculous things. And from here you see, because we said in the the midah of Adon HaNiflaot, because and one is that the niflaot and the nisim are being done in a derech hateva, especially during this day. So this is the day that you really it's going to work for you. You have to be very, very careful during this day. Yemei Chanukah, the days of Chanukah, also is misugal lerefuah shelo kederech hateva. So a person should daven if chas v'shalom you have somebody who is not feeling well and so on and so forth. Especially in Yemei Chanukah, pray for this person, because usually all the refuot is done b'derech hateva. Yemei Chanukah is even me'al hateva. Yemei Chanukah, regarding Chanukah, these are days who could bring about wealth, hatzlacha, and parnasat. Hashomea Yitzchak. In Sefer Mishlei it says, Orcha yamim be'imina uvesmola osher v'kavod. So in this pasuk there is a remez for the ner of Chanukah that you light on the left side of the door, right? And in Chanukah there is a tremendous shefa that comes from the pasuk Lemichya shelachani Elokim lifnechem. When Yosef talks to the brothers, it says Lemichya shelachani lifnechem. So we can learn about the parnasah from the word shelachani. Shelachani is Rashi Tevot lehadlik ner Chanukah shmona yamim. Shelachani. In other words, when I light the candles all 8 days of Chanukah, that's, by the way, in the name of Arugat HaBosem, I'm actually able to get tremendous michya, parnasah, and it's going to be berevach. In the name of the Bnei Yisachar, they say, B'sachar net Chanukah zoche le'inatzel b'dina shel Gehenom. A person who is makpid on ner Chanukah is zoche le'inatzel from Gehenom, from the din of Gehenom. And in the Sachar of ner Chanukah, a person should be very careful also. Why? Shezoche lebanim talmidei chachamim. As it says, Aragil baner, havin lo banim talmidei chachamim. A person who is very careful with the candle, with lighting the candle, so we give him a banim talmidei chachamim. And the Meiri is medayak in that, and he's saying the following: Haragil bederech chibuv mitzvah. When you're not lighting the candle all the time, when you are looking forward to light the candles, you're really putting an effort and you're looking forward for this. Lighting the candles. Iskel banim talmidei chachamim. Why? So in order to have talmidei chachamim, you really have to light the candles with appropriate attitude. So, oh my goodness, the Chanukah candles again. Where's this one? Why is not coming? Yalla, no, tadlikvar, yalla, no, let's go. You can't do this. You want talmidei chachamim, chibur mitzvah, habibi, nerot Chanukah, everybody, put a nice shirt on, wash your hands, gather all the mishpacha around you, light it b'kavanah, b'simcha. It's a tremendous, tremendous thing. And there are chachamim that says that kavanah is lebanim also. It's not really banim. It's also for banim that saru min haderech. Chaz v'shalom. If a person has a son that went a little bit off the derech, lighting the candles with a tremendous kavanah is also a sgula to be able, that would lit in their hearts the nitzotz kedusha again, and is going to bring them back on the path. So one needs to remember that. Nerot Chanukah misugal lefkedot akarim ve'akarot. If someone is barren, cannot bring kids, whether it's because of the man or the woman and so on, you could actually awaken the pkidah of akarim ve'akarot. And the Bnei Yisachar says the Ikar HaSgula hu b'yom acharon bezot Chanukah. In bezot Chanukah, the 8th day of the Chanukah, Adon HaNiflaot, a person, Chaz v'Shalom, doesn't have kids, should pray especially in this day to have kids. These are wonderful things. Here, Rebs, that's for you. The 8 days of Chanukah are really considered to be holy and special days, because there's a little bit of nitzotz mi'oro shel Mashiach, it's a spark from the light of Mashiach during these days. Especially the 8th day, all the days, but especially the 8th days are able to awaken what we call the Geula Shlema, the true redemption. Because Mashiach is Rashi Tevot, Mashiach is the initials of Madlikim Shmonat Yemei Chanukah. Madlikim Yemei, that's Mashiach, right? From here you can learn that this is a very good time, that you have to be very, very careful in what you do, and and have the responsibility that you could get from lighting the menorah candles, because you're bringing about the light of Mashiach, and that's the whole concept of Pirsumei Nisa. We're bringing it out. I'm not here advocating by all means to stop putting Chanukiot on top of your cars, because that look kind of pathetic and stupid. However, let's do the mitzvah appropriately. I mean, people are looking at it like, what is the reindeers? What do you got this little thing on your car? Was it a taxi? I mean, you're only taking half a fare. What is this thing? But putting the menorot on the windows, on the windowsill, to show that we are not afraid. We're putting the lights out, and so on and so forth. That is also a somewhat of a concept, and also to remind us that we have to be a light for the goyim. And the light for the goyim, light for the nations, we have to also appropriate like this, because what you do inside of your house also reflects what you do outside of the house. So you got to be very careful. Everything, both inside and outside, has to be with a light for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It has to be Gdula for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A person needs to be very careful. Don't act outside one way and inside the other way. A Jew inside and a Jew outside. Not a Jew inside and a German outside. That doesn't work. And that is, by the way, from Sefer Zera HaKodesh. On Yemei Chanukah, you could see, as we said before, nisim and miracles in all fields. And it's a story that the person who entered the Chazon Ish and he really complained to him that really is really suffering, is really tight with money and so on and so forth. His parnasa is really bad, and he needs a tremendous miracle to so he could repay his debt. And hopefully, by paying this debt with this miracle, he'll be able to go back on the right path. It's like he's crushing on the thing. So the Chazon Ish told him, he says, every single day a person could get a miracle, and especially on the 8th day of Chanukah, and you could. And the reason is because nature during this time does not have any. This is a special day. These are special days that the laws of nature, so-called, don't apply to that. These are open. These are days that are open for things above the nature. And however, in this case, the miracle will happen b'derech hateva, but it is against the teva. Right? There will be miracles, but it will be like this. However, during the times of Chanukah, right? That's during the time of Chanukah, you see things even shelo kederech hateva. Miracles shelo kederech hateva. In other words, me'atim beyad chalashim beyad rabim, right? Chalashim beyad giburim. It's lo kederech hateva, but it's still a miracle. So these are just like a little bit. I gave you a little bit of an overview about the maybe different meanings for things that we do in Chanukah, and some Segulot to hopefully lighten you up a little bit like that. I would recommend to you also, if you can, for those of you who weren't, go back to the shiurim that we did on Chanukah. You see how we got to where we got here today. We have a whole bunch of shiurim to put up. You did already? Good. So you can look at them today. We have a little bit of everything. So Be'ezrat Hashem, this is going to be Thursday, Parashat Miketz. We have a wonderful, wonderful Shabbat. This Shabbat is a wonderful Shabbat, taking 3 Sifrei Torah out. There's some places where they take 3 Sifrei Torah out, they say special psukim, special shirim for that. It's always 3 Sifrei Torah, because it's going to be Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh, and Chanukah. It's going to be the longest Birkat HaMazon.
Yay.
The longest Birkat HaMazon. And if Rosh Chodesh would have fallen during the week, also we will probably have the longest davening, because you have Rosh Chodesh and you have Chanukah, and it's a big simcha. But take this opportunity of those days to really be able to tap into something that is different, a little bit more spiritual, enhance your spirituality. And that will be by paying attention to the little details, giving meaning to your smaller details, the small things that you do in life that seem very not special to you and very boring. That's exactly when you put in your light. That's exactly when you sanctifying. Kadesh atzmecha b'mutar lecha. Put meaning in little things that you do. Even if even if you wash your hands when you do the Netilat Yadayim with a little bit more kavanah. I'm not saying that say l'shem yichud kudsha, but by the time you're going to do so, it's going to be already Pesach, right? And then kavanot with letters. I'm talking about pure meaning. Just be more aware. Increase your awareness of what you do. Right? Don't just go like this. Yalla Netilat Yadayim. Let's go. Pour 1, 2, 3, 4. Raise your hands, make a bracha. Come on, Kohen, make a bracha. Dry your hands, right? Go make hamotzi. Sit down. Don't take the sandwich with the bag. Right? Don't do that. Right? קח את הלחם בידך. Think about this. בונו של עולם, this is a יופי. מוציא לחם מן הארץ, lift it up. שים אותו חתיכה, right a piece, like this. Take a piece, put it in your mouth. Enjoy the flavor. These are meaning in what we do. And all of a sudden, you find wow, that's a miracle. This is like amazing. I'm very blessed. I'm very happy. Especially in those darkness. And that's for a reason why Chanukah also falls in those dark days now. This is the darkest days, the shortest days. To show you that even in the darkest days, when there's a lot of darkness outside, a little bit light of emunah, a little bit meaning in your avodat Hashem could shed tremendous light that you can put it in the window and you can guide and give hope to other people as well. Try to be mechazek yourself and others belemud Torah. You have to. You have to be mechazek. You haven't learned enough. Nobody has learned enough. You bring other people also. Bring other people on board with you. When you bring other people, you be mechazek as well. These are special days. These are special days. These are wonderful, wonderful days. But just put a little bit more meaning into that. Be'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu would light our lives and will guide us better. And this will be a beginning of a wonderful relationship, right? A wonderful friendship, as they say. There's something like this, it said, right? Mm-hmm. All right, guys. So, first of all, Shabbat Shalom, Rosh Chodesh Tov, and Chanukah Sameach.
Amen.